Nice. Today it's March 2nd, and I'm a little late to be repotting, but last year I repotted in February, and most of the seedlings and smaller trees that I repotted in February didn't make it. We had a late frost. So this year I waited. This is the first one that's actually showing any buds bursting, so thought I would do this one today, and we'll check on the others shortly. This one's kind of it's a bit of a mystery maple. I know a lot of people had commented on what they thought it was. Has a variegation. It's like an Amur maple or a red maple, but it's of course not red. And I think the soil is decent, but I needed to see what is happening with the roots. So I'm going to dump it. And the other thing I need to decide this year is which of these I'm going to take off. Kind of feel like I'll probably take this one off, even though it has a nice curve to it, but I might be able to make one of these into the new leader. But again, it depends on what I find with the roots. So I might just, pull it down, see what's in there, and make some decisions later. Why would I bring my root hook along to a repotting? I have tons of this. Actually, let's see what the bottom looks like. Looks like had some gravel down there. Yeah, so I learned last time I was at one of our bonsai meetings that I'm putting a foolish amount of potting soil in here. It's not really potting soil, but I had a lot of organics. This kind of looks like I had some kind of, pumice and pebbles. Maybe that's a lot of perlite. I've just been top dressed actually. So maybe this was just potting soil at one point. Definitely a heavy mix. It's good that I had the amount of perlite in there that I did, but it's still very wet. Yeah. Maybe some lava in there. Almost looks like gravel or something mixed in. I did have some gravel a couple years ago. Probably why this was so heavy. And definitely some larger, like red lava. You can feel some thicker roots in there. I should have looked back to see if I ever had done any root work on this before. I don't think I have. I have a feeling this was just growing in regular garden soil, and I probably just potted it up into a bigger pot one time, and probably added all this perlite just for better drainage. So what we really want to do is try and develop a good root structure early, so that we're not doing what I'm doing and wasting valuable time later when I could have been already well underway. Might like to just put this up on something. It's killing my back bending over. Yeah, you can definitely see this was not good soil. I got some grubs in there, even better. Okay. We are starting to get somewhere. Might actually see about trimming some of this. A bit of a spray down to avoid fungal disease. I'll show you some fungus in a while here. Not today, but still not quite sure where the main roots are coming from here. It's kind of a bigger one there. Holy crap, there's a big one. So yeah, any of these roots that are coming straight down, I can probably take off. I can feel there's a big clump right here. I would like to see what we have. Yeah, I'm just gonna go for it on that one. these. So that was kind of, actually 2 roots coming straight down. Pretty sizable. Well, not huge, but yeah, so most of these, well, this one is above the plane of any others, so it's kind of troublesome. There's a nice big one going at the right angle there. That could be usable. But yeah, this definitely seems too dense. And there's a bit of a, widens out nicely there. But I was hoping that it might widen out further below the soil and then could use that. It seems like that is not really the case. So I might have to not use some of these that I was hoping to use. Again, I've got some coming straight down that I need to get rid of. It's quite a large bundle there. Of course, having them coming straight down, for one thing, it doesn't, I guess, participate in the overall look of the design, but it's also preventing you from putting in smaller pots, and you need to develop these roots that are up higher, which will be more visible and allow for a shallower pot later on. I don't think I'll put it in too shallow of a pot. Now this root has taken some circles. I'll take it out. I do feel like I could get in there a little more. Maybe that one. Anything that is going straight down. So now, this actually has a decent amount of radial roots. And again, that kind of dictates the way that the tree will sit, whereas before it was coming straight out and I didn't really know what that would look like above. Now I can see that it more naturally would sit at this angle. This root might still be too high. I think this root's still too high. We can use the one below it. Doubt that this would be the front, but it could be part of it. Or perhaps coming way off on this angle, and that might be more interesting. And so yeah, that means that this little guy will come out. This one that curves. I feel like that might be good in the future. I might just try and keep it in there. And some of these ones here I think I will keep for the moment. Now I could put this in a rather large training pot. I'll try and remove some of these that won't make it in. Okay, let's go with this. So I'm going with something different today. I'm doing half pumice and half lava. First time that I've used something completely inorganic, so I'm a little nervous about that, but I'll just have to keep on top of water. Find the angle that I want. Go with this angle, and there's a bud here that I might end up using as the new top, and I might take off the rest here behind. Okay, got a nice mound going. Still a little too low. I'm gonna thread this through here. Which is ripping the bark on there. That's probably a bad way to do this. Alright, so let's go. That seems to be working. And go on the back. Okay. Perfect. And so we don't want any air pockets. We want to make sure that we drive a stick or chopstick in nice and deep under the roots, between the roots, and make sure that we work in the substrate underneath to prevent any air pockets. So I still have to do some pruning, but this will get us going for now. Again, I think what I will end up doing is either taking off this whole back branch or allowing it to grow from one of these points. But I think I like this point. I'm not sure yet. But I think I do need to at least take away some of this, because I don't think I'll be ending up using this. I could wire one of these to be the new leader, but I think I like the tree around this size, so for now I'm just not really sure what I want to do with it. I will need to rein it in, but I'll leave it for the moment, give it a good watering, and put it somewhere sheltered. It's still a little cool at night, and it's a clear night, so I don't want it to be too much in shock. I suppose I could go and remove some of these branches that are doubling up. Okay, so we went from March 2nd all the way to May 3rd, and I've spent quite a lot of time looking at this tree. When I was first repotting it, it kind of reminded me of a slingshot. It had the two branches, or the split trunk, and didn't really like how that looked, and I've just kind of been looking at it over time, and I started playing with some wiring, and I realized that the left side I could actually bring down, and even though it's a little bit heavy for a branch, I actually kind of liked the way it looked. So I wired it a little bit and realized that the wire that I had wasn't thick enough. So I think I had 2 mil wire on there, and I tried doubling it up, and it still wasn't quite holding. So today I got some 4 mil wire and decided to try and remove the wire that I had put on there before. Now, it's usually better to cut the wire off, just because you can damage bark, and while removing the wire, some of the wire sort of slipped along the bark, and there was a couple spots where it was slightly damaged, but overall it was okay. I did end up cutting some off at one point. Got the 4 mil wire, and I'm just inserting it into the soil as deep as I can, and then I was going to run it alongside the previous wire, because I do need quite a bit of strength to put any sort of a bend in the main part of the trunk, which isn't really the goal, but I wanted to basically take that left branch, bend it further down so that it's more branch-like and less like a trunk. I've got the one wire going up off to the left, and now I'm taking a second wire to go down the left side and then up the main trunk. And it's a little bit tricky because the wire doesn't all run the same way, and so I had to try and figure out how to get it through to be somewhat neat. It wasn't perfect, but it did end up working out okay. So one of the things that people advised me of was, because I had done severe root pruning to get it into this pot just a short while ago, it's not really advisable to do a lot of pruning up top. However, this particular maple is shooting growth out everywhere, and really growing quite vigorously, and so I felt like I could risk it. So what I decided to do was to shorten up the left branch. This one here on the left needed to come out. Take out this one here on the right. Basically ended up having pretty sizable branch off on the left. There's still a lot of development to do on the one on the right, and at this point I was just thinking about taking out growth that was going straight up. I think overall it turned out quite nice, and I'm looking forward to continuing to develop it. Of course, I will share more as it progresses, and thank you very much for watching. Have a great night. Bye.